Okay. Right, can everybody see the screen? Okay. I've got a highlighter and I've got a pen, and we've got a little bit of background to this one. Remember, the question never changes. Write a critical appreciation of this passage, relating your discussion to your reading of dystopian literature. And the first thing I'm going to do is annotate what's going on at the top. The Martian Chronicles, Ray Bradbury, I recognise that name, and Here's My Day, 1950. So, Chronicles and Martian. Well, we know what Martian means. It means alien. It's not a term that we tend to use as much these days. I think alien, it's fair to say, has replaced the term Martian. It does feel a little bit antiquated. Chronicles, what does that word mean? No idea?
Is it like a quest?
Like a quest? Chronicles of Narnia? Stories? Records? Okay. Historical accounts? Why do I know the name Ray Bradbury? Fahrenheit 451. And this is being written in 1950. Okay. What were the main concerns of dystopian fiction writers in the 1950s? Be specific. So it's post-World War II, which means we're in the era of the Cold War. Right. So we've got the Cold War. But then I need to ask myself whether these are going to be relevant later on. What else might we be concerned with, dystopian writers concerned with in the 50s? What are we seeing the increased use and development of? Technology and NIDI and nuclear weapons / power. Is there anything else in the 50s that dystopian writers might be concerned with? Edie? And that rise in consumerism, definitely. But I'm not going to get any marks if I start writing about one of these which isn't relevant. Nothing at all. Okay? So, this book chronicles the exploration and settlement of Mars, the home of indigenous Martians. What does indigenous mean? The people who were born there, it's theirs. By Americans leaving a troubled Earth that is eventually devastated by nuclear war. Now, I've put a bit more information in here because this extract is so short. What were the challenges of this extract? Why was this one hard? Because it's short, and what else? Right, so so we're not getting a lot of plot. And Emily, we're not getting... What else? So it doesn't feel as dystopian, so it's hard to find the features. And Nidhi? And there's no main protagonist. Okay, so I've chosen the two that we're looking at today because they are challenging. And I think sometimes we need to do that. We need to think, what if the exam board decide to throw us a curveball and they give us something that make us think, right, okay, that's a bit short, there's no main protagonist. What can we do with it? So I'm going to model this one and take you through some ideas. And then we're going to do the make room one. We're going to start off doing that one together. And then we'll take it from there as to what we're going to do. You're probably going to end up doing a little bit of writing towards the end of the lesson. So for those of you who couldn't make the lesson today, for whatever reason, this should be a good little revision piece for you. Okay. January 1999 rocket summer. So we've got a subheading there. rocket, and we've got a date, January 1999. So it's 49 years after publication. You lot still hadn't been born, is that correct? You're 2004 mainly? 5? 3, 4, 5. Babies. But that's a considerable amount of time, isn't it, from when it was written? He's imagining a world 50 years in the future, this writer, and he calls this Rocket Summer. Would anyone like to comment there on what that might suggest or imply, what AO2 is going on there? Okay, so let's question mark that. Why might we call it Rocket Summer, and what kinds of rockets? Right, so nuclear. Why just the summer and not the whole year? What's happening? Okay. 1 minute it was Ohio winter, with doors closed, windows locked, the panes blind with frost, icicles fringing every roof, children skiing on slopes, housewives lumbering like great black bears in their furs along the icy streets. So structurally, we're given an image of a very typical Ohio winter. Nothing particularly dystopian or menacing, except perhaps the temporal reference, the time, 1 minute. It was Ohio winter. I'm pretty sure winter should last longer than a minute. And then this sense of everything being closed down. Doors closed, windows locked, and the panes blind with frost. So we've got some personification there. And the sense of a community not taking notice perhaps of what's going on around them. Even the housewives anthropomorphized into big black bears, lumbering. Okay, and then the change. And then a long wave of warmth. Got some nice alliteration there. And also the assonance in wave of warmth, elongating the sounds. Crossed the small town. Personification again? Perhaps. Not quite as solid. A flooding sea of hot air. A flooding sea of hot air. So, a mixed metaphor there. But we certainly don't think of flooding as something positive, do we? It seemed as if someone had left a bakery door open. And then this return to kind of the ordinary, the domestic. And we know that that's a feature of dystopian fiction, that it takes what is familiar to us and then it just twists it, doesn't it? The heat pulsed among the cottages and bushes and children. What's that word pulsed doing? It's personifying the heat again, isn't it? And it's starting to sound a bit more menacing. And then look at the order of the list. It goes cottages, bushes, natural, and children. The icicles dropped, shattering to melt. The doors flew open, the windows flew up. So we've got shattering and flew. The children worked off their wool clothes. The housewives shed their bare disguises. The snow dissolved and showed last summer's ancient green lawns. Remember, all of this is happening in this Ohio winter. So there's transformation here, but it seems unnatural, doesn't it? Rocket summer. The words passed among the people in the open air, airing houses. Rocket summer. The warm desert air changing the frost patterns on the windows, erasing the artwork. That's an interesting phrase. The skis and sleds suddenly useless. Lots of sibilance there, but is it important? The snow, falling from the cold sky upon the town, turned to a hot rain before it touched the ground. Okay, why is the snow still falling? It's making me feel then that this rocket summer is something man-made and unnatural, because Mother Nature is still trying to do a job. Rocket summer. People leaned from their dripping porches and watched the reddening sky. So we've got dripping, shattering, reddening, that sense of menace increasing. The rocket lay on the launching field, blowing out pink clouds of fire and oven heat. The rocket stood in the cold winter morning, making summer with every breath of its mighty exhausts. So now we find the cause. The rocket made climates, and summer lay for a brief moment upon the land. So the cause of it all is this rocket. Why has this rocket got so much power? So we've got rocket summer repeated 3 times, and then the rocket. So the power of this rocket, as though it's something not man-made almost, like it's kind of evoking images more of like a dragon or some kind of sleeping beast. So, do we still think there's not a lot to write about in this extract? Or have we just got out of the habit of really going through with that fine-tooth comb so that we're pulling out every little bit? May I ask now what I have missed? Because I'm sure I've missed stuff that you've noticed. Anybody? Okay, so let's try. Oh, Edie, thank you.
It talked, like the extract talks a lot about people's reactions to this and how they're quite slow.
Yes.
People lean from their windows, which is quite casual.
Mm.
And yeah, that's just what I was going to say. And they watch, they're very passive.
Sorry, I'm writing then, you can't see. Yes, absolutely. They don't. I think the reader feels more of a sense of danger for them than they feel for themselves, as though they have just accepted the power of the rocket, but we don't know why. It's a good opening though, isn't it? It's really evocative. You kind of left, and this is the opening page. The rocket lay on the launching field. Anything else?
The rocket becomes like more unignorable. It says the rocket lay, then the rocket stood.
Yeah.
It's becoming more imposing.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really good. It lay, it stood, and then it made. That's really good. I hadn't noticed that at all. That's increasing that power. Okay, so now that we've done that one together, well, or rather I've tried to show you all the things that you could have commented on, I'm going to stop this video and give you a chance to read the next one, and then hopefully you'll give me a lot more from that one, yeah?